Day this video goes up is May 9th, which is Goku Day in Japan. It was originally Piccolo Day, but then Goku killed him, so it's Goku Day. It's also 2019, which marks the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z, the anime that changed everything. As much flack as the Dragon Ball franchise gets from its whack writing and downright horrible Blu-ray box sets, there's no denying the effect that it had on not only the anime industry, but also pop culture as a whole. Like my man Goku pulled up on the Macy's Day Parade right up there with Snoopy and Pikachu and other household characters. You can't even tell me he's not relevant. I only got into Dragon Ball about a year and a half ago, and since then I've seen all the anime series, some of the movies, and even Heroes, and even though it wasn't that long ago, I can't remember a time where I wasn't a Dragon Ball fan. So today, I wanted to share with you all why exactly it is that I love Dragon Ball. Unlike a lot of people, I never grew up watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid, and I only got into it via Kai around 2017, so I don't really have the nostalgia around it that most fans tend to have, but I actually think that it helps me see the series more for what it is, rather than for what I remember it being. This is a problem I've had with like Avatar, where I grew up with the show, so I have a predefined idea for what it is and what it represents to me. I didn't have that going into Dragon Ball. I mean, I had seen the little, on the next Dragon Ball Z Kai, things at the ends of episodes on Nicktoons every now and again, and I knew some of the characters and attack names, but that's just about as much exposure I had at the series at that point. I didn't have any preconceived notion of what the series was or what it was supposed to be, so I kind of just went in blind, and I honestly think that's the best way I could have done it. Let me tell you, your first time watching any Dragon Ball series is a wild ride, because it seems like the wackiest thing ever, but you somehow get used to the weird. Even if you're like me and you didn't grow up with the series, something about it still feels nostalgic. It still feels so familiar, which is part of why I think the franchise has lasted so long. It doesn't matter what episode of what series you watch, even the worst written episodes can still keep the average person's attention because it just has that kind of vibe. For example, some of my friends, who have zero interest in anime at all, decided to randomly put on an episode of Dragon Ball Super while we were hanging out one time, and I was fully expecting them to make fun of it the whole time and laugh it off completely. And while there was a bit of that, I noticed that they mostly seemed to enjoy it to some degree. In fact, one of my least weeaboo friends of the group was trying really hard to make fun of it, but he was still completely enthralled by the episode. I don't think I converted any of them to join the weeb realm or anything, but even the people who hate Dragon Ball still like it, because it's honestly impossible to hate. You can dislike the show because you know it's not your thing, but even people who don't like it can still find enjoyment in it, and it's one of the few franchises in history that I know of that can do that. Even so, I think there's something for everyone in Dragon Ball. Do you like a more grounded and martial arts based show? Then the original series might be for you. If you like seeing a more serious and hardcore show with lots of fighting, then Dragon Ball Z or Kai might be right up your alley. If you want something similar to that but that doesn't take itself too seriously, then Super sounds like it might be your cup of tea. If none of those tickle your fancy, then GT, I guess? I mean, it's certainly not the best Dragon Ball series, but if you want to, be my guest. The point here is, Dragon Ball is timeless, and its timelessness is what makes it so fondly remembered by those who grew up with it, and what keeps new viewers coming back for more. There is no other cartoon or anime out there that will publicly screen episodes for the entire country, build it up like a real-life boxing match, and almost cause an international incident just to make that happen. There are a lot of shows like Dragon Ball, but none that can truly capture its essence. The second reason that I love Dragon Ball is a bit unorthodox from the way I would usually talk about this kind of stuff in this kind of video, but pretty much every opening and ending song of any Dragon Ball series conveys some sort of emotion from me. You got the upbeat, happy kind of stuff in Maka Fushigi Adventure, Dandan Kokoro Hikarateku, Chala Head Chala, Ya Break Care Break. There's the absolute power ballads like Genkai Toppa X Survivor, Hero, F, Ultimate Battle, but I think Super's endings are my favorites, because a lot of them give me a very existential feeling. I don't know if that's weird or not, but at least half, if not all, of the Super endings either show Goku's entire life from beginning to now, or every character hanging out and enjoying life. Sometimes both. I know that's something a lot of anime tend to do, but I think it works best for something like Dragon Ball because of how long it's been around and how well we know these characters. Seeing every character together, sometimes you forget that like half of them used to be Goku's enemy in some capacity, and that it was because of Goku that many of them even know each other at all, or even alive in the first place. It's this idea that one person, in this instance Goku, can bring all kinds of people together through his actions. How many people do you know of in real life that can do that kind of thing in a positive way? I'm willing to bet not many, and even some that do might not have the best of intentions behind the scenes. Goku is pretty much the embodiment of who every person should strive to be. A kind and caring person who won't be afraid to take down anyone who challenge their positive vibes and test themselves to the absolute limit just for the sake of it. But anyways, back to the music itself. I don't want to go too in depth because I have another video planned about this exact topic, but a lot of these endings, for the reasons I already mentioned, have me putting my own life into perspective and almost imagining all the people in my life that I've met along the way, replacing some of the characters in the endings, as weird as that sounds. else. The endings and openings make me think of all the people I've affected in my life, the same way Goku has for all of his friends. I'm not saying that I watch the show specifically for the openings and endings, because that'd just be silly, but it's because of the show and who the characters are, what they do, and what they mean to Goku that makes them resonate so hard with me to where I can project my own experiences onto them and relate to them in a meaningful way. The final reason for why I love Dragon Ball is that it's a show that gave me confidence. I've seen the franchise, Dragon Ball Z in particular, described as male empowerment fantasy, and that is so unbelievably true. Back in late 2017 when I first got into Dragon Ball, I was a bit of a loser. I had pretty low self-esteem and was often pretty depressed, and my life in high school just wasn't what I wanted it to be. I was constantly bogged down by negative thoughts, and I was often very emotional. Once I got around to finishing Super in about 2018, something about it just clicked with me. I'm by no means saying that Super is my favorite series or anything, but something about it, specifically Ultra Instinct and the Tournament of Power in general, just got me really hyped. Dragon Ball became an instant mood booster for me. Watching Goku get more powerful and overcoming adversity made me want to do the same. And after that summer, I became more confident in myself than I'd ever been, and it stuck around. I still have anxiety and get depressed from time to time, but it happened significantly less than it did when I wasn't watching Dragon Ball. I know the term fake it till you make it gets thrown around a lot, and its validity and effectiveness often criticized when it comes to this kind of stuff, but at least in my experience, it works. When life got me down, I would just pretend I'm unleashing my true power, like Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 against Cell, Goku fighting Beerus to save Earth, Vegeta taking down Goku Black, Goku and Frieza beating Jiren, and everything in between. Heck, even Team 4 Star's DBZ Abridged helped a little bit, with pretty much every Vegeta line being such pure toxic masculinity that it fuels my very being. I am the hype! And the Ten Shinhan vs Cell scene is something else, man. Even just doing a bad Vegeta impression and saying something like, "Kakarot, you fool!" to amuse myself can raise my spirits tenfold. When Dragon Ball increased my confidence levels, I made some of the best videos that I've ever made yet on this channel. Everything from Boo Deserves Better to Avatar Month 2018 to a lot of the memeier stuff I've been doing lately. All of it was a result of me feeling more confident because of Dragon Ball. Me making a video is my version of going Super Saiyan in real life. It makes me feel how you would think a Super Saiyan feels. I feel fresh energy crackling through my veins. The way I see it, I was already too powerful for this world, and Grand Zeno or the forces that be tried to nerf me by giving me all this anxiety and self-doubt. But joke's on him, cause it didn't work. Seeing Goku and his friends break their limits time and time again makes me want to do it too. And if that doesn't stand to the testament that Dragon Ball is one of, if not the, most inspiring series there is, then I don't know what does. So all in all, Dragon Ball is more than just a show about dudes fighting other dudes. Well, I mean, that's exactly what it is, but it's what the show stands for, what it represents, and the phenomena that has become worldwide that makes it way more than any of that. If you ask any Dragon Ball fan what their favorite thing about the series is, you'll get a different answer every time, because there's just so much about it to enjoy, and I'm willing to bet most fans probably can't put their finger on exactly why, but they just know that they like it. It hasn't always had the best writing, or the best animation, or the clearest continuity, but I think that any hardcore Dragon Ball fan can agree that being a Dragon Ball fan has changed their life for the better in some way. And that, my friends, is why I love Dragon Ball. I've been MattCMG. Thanks for watching.